As harvest continues across the state of Iowa, the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network crew is out and about giving you a glimpse into the harvest process. In this week's stop on our Beck's Hybrids Harvest Tour, Mark Magnuson visits with Central Iowa farmer Corey Goodhue on a beautiful property near Carlisle.
And Corey, could you tell me please about the property we are on here today, where we're located at? It's a unique property.
Yeah, Mark, we're here in southeast Polk County in the hills around the Runnels, Iowa area.
And specifically this field that we're at, how many acres are we looking at?
About 100 acres here.
And it's an interesting piece of property because you're driving down the highway. It's not a dirt road, Corey. All of a sudden, you gave me the directions, you gave me a great job, but you have to turn into some timber, and then you're immediately climbing up a hill.
Yep, we joke that you've got to get up to the top of the mountain, and up here on the top we have all the terraces, and really neat property, an awesome view into like Des Moines Metro, but pretty unique for sure.
And so once we climbed up the hill, we came out and it flattened out on top, and we can see off to our side where Corey's been harvesting, so we'll go check that out now in the cab. So it's kind of a unique spot we're in, and right now we're rolling through some corn. And Corey, when you think about this growing season, I can imagine what the weather was like right here, because we are, of course, our office is in Des Moines, and the faucet was on through June and July. Then we get to about, the second week of August, was it? And the faucet just about turned off. What did that do for this cornfield specifically, do you think? Did that set you up? Did we get enough rain early in the season that it set you up well?
You know, the start of the growing season was really awesome here. We had great emergence, really good planting conditions up here. We've worked pretty hard with cover crops and other things to improve the soil health, so we've been really happy with kind of how the early part of the year went. I think in the month of May, we got about 1 inch of rain a week on this property. Like you say, we got into late June, early July. I think this farm got 16 inches of rain in the month of July. And even with, the roll to this property, it's still, that's a lot of rain to take over that period of time. We've been really happy with what we're seeing. We've seen some solid average so far, getting this first terrace cleaned up. So it's generally a pretty good farm, and pretty happy with what we're seeing after the tough year.
So of course, with that early season rainfall, all of that moisture, you get the positive, obviously, that it's helping that plant and it's getting it growing quickly and moving along through the season well. But with that comes the disease pressure oftentimes. And just eyeballing this corn right here, it looks pretty clean, Corey, but what did you deal with in disease pressure?
Yeah, this particular number has a really good disease package. We did not get this farm totally sprayed with fungicide. It was so wet it was hard to access part of it with the drone equipment. So generally I'm pretty happy with what we're seeing here. Southern rust, we're really kind of in the epicenter where we farm here. That's what we've been told. We've seen a pretty substantial impact. Some of our more susceptible varieties have not fared as well.
So it sounds like, at least early going here of getting this combine, pretty happy with the yields despite some of that disease pressure.
Yeah, this has been solid. It'll be probably one of our better farms when it's all said and done for the year.
And then going back to your comment about fungicides, so this year, big year for fungicide. We've heard so many stories about farmers that were either able to apply fungicide or not. Of course, the difference you're going to see there. And then even the farmers that were able to get that second shot of fungicide, how that could make a huge difference. So were you able to apply here on this field then, you said, with the moisture?
Yeah, parts of this upper area were. As we get further away, some of the property wasn't really accessible because of the mud and everything. So we're definitely seeing solid yields where we have fungicide. I think this number will hang in pretty well. Places that we weren't able to spray fungicide or chose not to, we're seeing a pretty significant impact negatively.
Corey, in working with Beck's hybrids, I get a chance to talk with quite a few Beck's agronomists, and they always have a lot of great answers. They're always very accessible. Have you found that to be the case?
Yeah, I met Michael through some soybean association activities. Beck's is an awesome supporter of the soybean association, and I've been really fortunate to have the opportunity to serve on the soybean board. So they've definitely been a good group of folks to get to know. We planted a plot with them, so I'm really excited to see how that comes in.
And you mentioned your work with the Soybean Association. I know you're very passionate about farming, Corey, but getting a chance to work just here on corn here today, What do you think are the biggest differences when it comes to managing, I guess, field management decisions when it comes to soybeans and corn based on a given field, a given year?
The weather and the timing is so important. Different weather patterns at different times of the year matter differently. Like this year we've seen such heavy disease pressure in the corn, and really we just haven't seen that in our soybeans at all. And so, you really have to scout and make those decisions carefully.
Going back to the discussion on Beck's is an independent company. Do you like that, Corey, when you're deciding who to work with, an independent operator, someone that you can work with alongside?
Yeah, I think about Kloss, how they're largely, privately or family owned, and how they choose to treat their customers. And a little bit of, as I've met the folks that run Beck's and have the chance to talk with them, they're definitely farmers at heart, and they serve the farmers. So it's a lot to be said about something that's kind of farmer-led. And
Corey, as we were pulling up here today, there was still a little bit of frost on the ground, a little bit of frost that was making it difficult to get up the incline to get into this field. And that just reminds me, when it comes to farming, there's always something you got to deal with. There's always something you got to figure out. But as I mentioned earlier, you have a passion for farming. Do you kind of like that side of it at the end of the day, that you do have to fix that puzzle piece, get it into the puzzle?
Yeah, I think the logistics or the puzzle every day is what makes it interesting. I think something that a lot of farmers have in common is that none of us would do well doing the same thing every day. And so that's one of the things I love about farming is every day brings new challenges. You say, well, you're just combining corn again today, but it's different. Every day is different.